Hey, you mentioned Sean Payton, so what's on the table for him? Do you see him coming back, and then what type of compensation? Because the Saints do hold his rights for next year.
Well, and that's part of the complication here with Sean Payton is the Saints would have to work out a trade. When the Dolphins called him last year, it was a very brief conversation. It was, no, we're not interested in doing that. Now, he had just retired. He'd retired a couple of weeks before or whatever it was. It was very recent. I think that there's a fair argument to be made that the price for a team like the Panthers is going to be a lot higher than somebody in the AFC, somebody at least not in the division. He will have opportunities. There's no question about it. He's going to have to decide, is the right fit there? You know, the one thing you don't want to do is jump back into the wrong spot. There is definitely a value from talking to coaches through the years in taking a year away and doing something different and taking a breath. And Sean was very upfront about that. And people who knew him said he needed that break. You know, how fully rejuvenated is he for 2023? Is that right job open? He's not going to go to, I mean, name the worst spot you can think of, Washington, if they make a change. He's not going to go there. It's just not going to happen.
But we know there's already 2 openings, and we know traditionally there's anywhere from 6 to 8 every offseason. So who are the
last year there was 10.
Who are the 4 to 6 other 7 other spots you might see opening up?
There's nothing else that's on the brink right now. I think that's the thing. I think that you can fairly go down the list of what teams are not playing at the highest level right now. Does Arizona make a change if they don't turn things around? They just extended Cliff Kingsbury and Steve Keim for the long haul. But, you know, if they stumble here, Washington is certainly one that I don't know who would be making the change. That's the reason that we're not talking about that really right now. And Ron has had to deal with so much. I got a text from somebody while we were in the last break because I asked basically what was said in that meeting this morning. The dueling statements last week, one of which was using Brian Robinson as a human shield for whatever is going to happen to the Commanders at this press conference with the Attorney General of Washington, D.C., which is coming up in 23 minutes. What I was told was that he had to explain the statements, then said they got to focus on working together with the people in the room. Huge game this Monday. They're facing the unbeaten Eagles on Monday.
Game, division game.
And need to lock in. And then if any players had any issues or wanted to talk to him, to come and speak to him about it. Just imagine that. And this is not like an isolated one-time thing. This is every day, every week. And you don't know what you're going to wake up and find. And there's no other place like it. We talked about this yesterday. Dallas, you've got Jerry and Steven. They go on the radio and they say stuff. But most of it's just Jerry using a bunch of strange metaphors that you've never heard, and then you Google and go, is this a Arkansas thing? Is this just a Jerry thing?
The oil
Did he
thing?
just come up with this? Like, what is he even talking about here? It's fun. It's not always helpful. When they struggled, right, last year, and he was being asked questions about potential coaching changes and things like that, and, you know, a lot of the answers he gave left the door open for potential changes, whether he was talking positively about Sean Payton, talking positively about Dan Quinn, whatever. That's not helpful.
Yeah.
But it's not this. It's not complete, all over the place, non-football stuff that you're dealing with.
And you mentioned Ron Rivera. On top of the other stuff he's been dealing with, the guy is a cancer survivor. His mother just passed away last week. Like, this guy's got so much on his plate and then have to deal with all this other crap that's out of his control, non-football stuff, so to speak.
And there's really something to be said for when you're in the league and you get the reputation that you're incompetent or that you're always going to make the wrong decisions, it is hard to get past that. Nathaniel Hackett has felt that this year in Denver, where one decision, granted, an unorthodox one, and one that Hackett probably wishes he had back, but running the clock down and trying to kick that field goal. If that happens in a 1 p.m. Eastern time game, if it's not on national TV, we're not talking about it. If it's not in the opener, it's still just kind of this strange thing that happened. It was the very first game for Nathaniel Hackett, and broad swaths of people in the media and fans and on social media all decided this guy's a failure. This guy doesn't know what he's doing.
One game.
It's one game.
It also didn't help that it was Russ going back to Seattle. There was so much more going on there.
There was so much that went into that game. Yeah. And then what happens? 3 of their next 5 games also on national TV. So now you are fighting uphill on the perception that you're incompetent, even though every first-year head coach has bumps in the road. And he's trying to figure out an offense. He's trying to be the play caller while learning all the duties of the job. The Broncos go out and they hire a game management guy and make a big show of that. Hackett, I've known Hackett for quite a while. He's a really intelligent guy. He has a natural feel for people. He wants to do good. Aaron Rodgers and him had a tight bond. Don't overlook that when we're talking about Aaron Rodgers struggling. Matt LaFleur is a really, really good head coach. Hackett was a guy who connected with Aaron. And that's a hard thing to do because Aaron doesn't trust many people. When Hackett was up for the Falcons job 2 years ago, Rodgers called the Falcons, said, hire this guy. He's that good. I don't want to lose him, but that's how good this guy is. One game. Can't do it. And you've got radio hosts who may or may not be getting calls from a player's agent going on there and got to fire him now. Get rid of him. One game. The Broncos spent 3 weeks flying around the country with a contingent of like 10 people, interviewed everybody, came to the conclusion, this is the guy. One game.
Gone.
Failure. Get rid of him. Like, that's a hard spot.
Yeah. Is that it?
Gone.
It's... If my show yesterday here were that bad, I might have been replaced. Let's be honest here. But first time doing the show, it'd be slightly unfair.
We gave you the benefit of the doubt.
I appreciate it.
You know?
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.